Yeah, turn my mic up. They talking again? Same old story. Different day, we won't stop. Listen close. Let me break it down for you. Every time you whine, I win. Every time you run a bit, I win. Every lie you tell will make up in the end. I'm just stacking my wins with a big ass grin. Every single time that you open your mouth, your whole little narrative is heading down south. Bored old man in a lonely sad situation, sitting on the internet a sad vacation. Got nothing to do but seek some attention. Every time you whine, I win. Every time you talk, I win. There is no competition, been in this game, not you. Living my life, no permission, oh dude. You can't take the heat, so you stay in the shade, watching the moves and live streams we made. I win, I win. Yeah, I win. Let's talk about the world of the YouTube space. Grown man running in a pointless race. No real opinion, just echo in the crowd. Talking real big, but your actions fall short. No life you got and you prove it. You say you're good and you ain't. George and Heidi, yeah, we see the whole view. We operate on levels that are like years from you. Thank you for sending viewers our way. Every time you whine, I win. Every time you talk, I win. There is no competition, we are different, yeah. Living my life, no permission, yeah. You can't take the heat, so you stay in the shade, watching the moves and the history I made. I win. Keep talking, keep whining. It just sounds like applause to me. George and Heidi, we out. I win.
Good morning. Trying to get my hair together. Keep your hands off me, George. Hey, what is going on? All right. It's been one of those mornings already. How things disappear, I have no freaking idea and no clue. I had some notes here based on this situation we're going to be covering today, and it's totally gone. So either I carried it off, because yeah, that's it. That's the one. It ended up somehow on the floor on the other side of the table because we have one heck of a love scam and a tale of caution in the Philippines. And yes, I'm definitely going to need the notes because I spent part of the morning translating. This was covered in the Netherlands and other parts of the world. And it turns out there's this age gap relationship. She's 19 and he's 65. And they met online, and it started with a bunch of money, and it ended up with him dying. And the family came to visit them and confront him. So we have that story. It's been a little bit. It's not really been in the news as much as it traveled through the expat forums. You look like a doll when you do that. Show him your shirt. Check out George's merch, man. That's us and our characters, and characters on top of characters. So it's kind of, yeah. What's with your eye again?
This is our pets and
You look like Katy Perry when she did the weird thing. Yeah. Imitate Katy Perry. Them balls there almost match your balls and your face. Balls, balls, and balls, huh?
right.
Yeah. So, anyways, so that is going to be our story today. Also, that's been going through the news is been an expat in Thailand that's Australian has unalived a 17-year-old girl and put her in a suitcase and dumped her, which I'm like, well, how'd they find it? They directly went out and found the body that night. It's somebody was watching, I'm sure. It probably just looked weird. He threw his suitcase over there. Even here, they would notice something like that. It would just be odd for a white dude to be walking down the road. He's not a small guy, he's plus size, and just to toss a suitcase off he just kind of, yeah, that would just seem weird. But there's all kinds of rumors on why it happened. We know that she was a prostitute, and we know there is talk, and I don't know how anybody else would know this if it's just him and her in the room, but they're trying to say she was on her menstrual cycle and it freaked him out, and he literally choked her because of it. But I heard other things too, but that's the one that's going around right now. But it's extremely, extremely sad. Oh, you got Mary. You have to get in the frame there before I frame you myself. Get in the frame, George. Oh yeah. Them aren't going to be the only balls that I grab onto later, because really, you got the right one today. So let's discuss noisy neighbors as we let the room build up, because there's only 20. Hey, don't get me going, because even George was irritated, but I think he got tired of me talking about it. Well, he wouldn't have heard me talking about it if we weren't up till 1:30 in the morning listening to this crap. And I told George crazy knows no boundary, because when I slap the shit out of somebody here and finally break down, I'm telling you, crazy and where we're from don't matter where you're from. It's about to happen. But yesterday, it's not even, I know I mislabeled saying Christmas was going to be the 1st of December and all of that, right? Or 1st of July, but it's not till September, right? So I was jumping the gun. We have a basketball court in our subdivision, and it seems like every little parade, every little show, every little, what's wrong? What's wrong?
It's yeah, smart.
Yeah, because you're not always here to read through that. What's it, just saying new things?
No, it's a new type of ad. It shows the ad while we're on screen.
Yeah, no, I know it pops up. People said that's been covering it. Yeah, they're trying to get extra money, and we're not even using the heavy ads. In other words, YouTube, when you're monetized, will say, do you want to use little ad, medium, or high to make more money? And a lot of people put them on medium or high. We don't. We have them at the bare minimum, and they still now are popping up because George is signed into another account to look at that. Anyways, so they do everything, and this isn't even a public area. Like, this is inside of a private subdivision, so they do giveaways, and I get the DSWD giving out their money, and they hand out when there's storms. Yeah, I'm about ready to, I don't know, I should never give you props. George ain't even thinking about them props. I said put them goddamn props on, and now they're about ready to drive me nuts. You're supposed to shake them like you're afraid. Hold on, ready?
Oh,
Oh, you can't. That looks like you after 3 red horses.
no, this reminds me of like, what's up? What's up?
I got a better idea. We can blindfold you. You know how?
No.
You got your blindfold on you right now. There you go. Put there it is. Put it across. There he is. George got blindfolded by a piece of string. That's how Asian you are. Okay. So, for Christ's sake, they had, would you call them a DJ or the MC or something? They had something, and I don't give a shit if it's Pride Month. I don't give a shit where the hell these, like, every other day they've got some sort of pageantry here. That, I mean, this has got to be the most vainest country I've ever seen, that's so into themselves that 20 times a day in this city they're having a competition of beauty. And sometimes it's just kids against kids. Sometimes it's a lot of them are men dressed up like women. I'm talking about, like, they're all over the place. And I'm like, it's probably another damn pageant again. But it was so loud that not only could you hear them, and we're 3 streets over, but they turned the bass up so bad the floors were vibrating. This is the loudest. Not even 4th of July was this loud, George.
Right. No.
It was
And
ridiculous.
here's the issue I have. Okay. Here's 2 things. For those of you who are familiar with the Philippines. Well, let's start with the one that's not involved with the Philippines. first off, last night for us was Sunday, so that means today is Monday morning. What I'm getting at is they kept this on for basically all night long, and it's a work day and it's a school day.
Yeah, it started at like 2 in the
Right.
afternoon where they were practicing. I'm like, okay.
And the other thing is, now this is the typical thing in the Philippines. In most locations, I said most, I didn't say all. Whenever there's a basketball court, usually what's around that basketball court are places of business. Usually there's a school,
And not always in a
there's a church.
subdivision.
There's basically there are usually businesses around that basketball court. Well, they most of the basketball courts are in the subdivision, but what I'm saying is usually there's still establishments around it, not residential. I mean, here it's
Yeah.
all well. Okay, there's a church, but although the other church doesn't count. 'Cause
Okay, it really doesn't. I mean, the whole point is they've got it set up where the barangay's there, and it is part government where the areas are.
Yeah, usually the barangay hall is right there.
So basically, it's
usually
private.
business.
This
But
is
here,
a
it's
private
literally
subdivision.
houses next, like right there.
You
right
could
there,
almost reach out at these houses for sure.
right there.
You could
it's
hit them if you
insane.
threw something. Yeah. So the houses are all over, and I told George, I know there's some old people in this neighborhood that are ready to bitch.
And there's like a 3-story apartment complex right there.
It doesn't make any
like,
sense.
what?
And they're they reestablished, we told you guys like 6 months ago, they reestablished this noise ordinance. They're done with it. And now they said they were clamping down and giving fines and all of this. And it doesn't matter if it's daytime. If it's too loud, it's too loud. And I'm sure that it was definitely before 10 o'clock, but they went on to 1:30 in the morning with high bass. And I'm sorry, Filipinos are loud. I don't know what it is about being extraordinarily loud. Not all, but most of them have to talk so loud like they have to be heard. So it was so extraordinarily loud. And I just couldn't believe it. It's like, and there's a government official we told you that's a really big government official, and nothing happened. There was probably the chief of police sitting over there, as a matter of fact, while you bullshit. And so the situation is just irritating as shit. And even for George to sit there and say, hey, that's really loud, like the floor was vibrating. It wasn't even that loud on the 4th of July when all the fireworks were going off and they were revving everything. And even then, they said they were going to fine people. Did they do it? No. The Philippines, I've been to Europe, I've been Mexico, I've been to the Middle East. And I'm telling you, the most passive, rudest people that doesn't mind anybody's business but their own is here in the Philippines, George. I'm sorry. It's like no conscience whatsoever. And the bottom line is boundaries. They don't know no boundaries. Nobody has told them it's wrong to throw trash on the ground. And if they do, they'll ignore you about it. And they avoid neighbors. It's not that they're just always good people and avoiding fights. Bullshit. I learned after living with George, that's not what he's trying to do. It is just in his DNA to avoid all conflict, down to ignoring you for an entire day. And it's not right. So nobody's minding the store, nobody's minding the business, and I don't care who this offends. I've been up to 1:30 in the morning listening to pounding that never I didn't hear a concert that I've been to that was this loud. And we're nowhere near the basketball court. So we know the surrounding neighborhoods and other barangays could hear this, and nothing. Filipinos will pass things off. I told George, this is just the sign of a bunch of children living here. Like nobody is minding it like a teenager. They don't give a shit. So sorry, that's where it was. I know I'm taking a little far, but it was ridiculous. And the first thing is, oh, move out to the province or go get a condo. No, the noise continues there too. You're just going to run into other problems. And there's nothing you can do. You call, then you're a target in the neighborhood. Expats of this big dilemma has been going on forever. Do you call? Do you get people involved? No, you do, and then you become a full target. Then they're picking on you all the time. Big ass children. And that's the truth. What's going to happen if I sit there and called and insisted on everybody to come like we would in America? I'd become a target over here somehow, some way. Yes or no? Yeah. So you suck it up. So it's pretty much what's going on. Anyways.
Well, it's the same in the U.S.
No, you call the cops. Yeah, you'll become a target to your neighbor, but you're probably already going off. But the whole point is that shit'll stop and they'll write them a ticket. That shit'll stop right away at 1 in the morning. And usually they do mind. It gets turned down some, but this was a ridiculous level yesterday, George.
Well, somebody did complain because it did go down a bit.
Yeah, 1:15 in the morning or something. I said it sounded like they turned the bass down finally, and but you could hear the guys screaming. So my guess is I told George and I said, I don't mind the LGBTQ community, but you piss me off and you're running that shit. I can't stand that shit. It's the whole point is you just turn that into disturbing the world over your goddamn pride and you're showing and dancing and stuff. And it's like there are so many of these competitions. Good for you, you've got all the time for that and all the energy. But to disturb everybody, doesn't people want to hear their shit? So, anyways, that's all I got to say
Well, not
about
like
that.
that
And don't care who
anyway.
I affect. Just where that is why, yeah, it's just kind of insane. Good morning, Sarah. What is going on? Hey, hey, hey. I don't know. When this starts up, it wipes out some of the people that have come in. Good morning, Ray. Hey, Vlogging Life is in the house. Black Canyon, Arizona, checking in and saying hi. We just seen the Armstrong family. We know that he did the truck driving. We know he was doing different things in America. It looks like he's returned back. He's looks like he's official into vlogging. He brought in his girlfriend that he's been dating, and I believe it appears he's here again living. So he's doing like video podcast like things and setting up a whole new setup and stuff. But it was kind of interesting. We seen him the other day. He's been in on our channel leaving messages, but thought it was interesting. He got back into it. Good for him. He got back up on the horse. I mean, his ex-wife got into it right away. Like she didn't fall off of it because it was her main income. He went back, got a job, established himself, and came back with his money. He's back again. So that's, that's good for him. I like it when a story comes together and people, love, learn, and how'd that feel?
Right.
Balls to the walls. Yeah. Does that hurt? Yeah. Who knows? Good morning, Lori Bookham. Good morning. Hey, Slick Rick is in the house. What is going on? 1 second, I gotta ask George something. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Was a few rants that finally came in our message the other day, and I told George, but there's no sense in explaining one to one runt out there what's going on with my medical and finances and everything. And they seem to think we hit the jackpot and that I should have been able to do the surgery by now, but that's a joke.
Long story short, if somebody tells you that they collected a total of like say again, just an example here. Let's say if somebody told you that they collected from the classroom $100, and then they repeated that story, they collected a total of $100, and then they repeated that story, they collected $100. That does not mean they collected $300. That just means they collected a total of $100.
Yeah, the guy had us set at about 12,000,
like
and we're like, no, we never said we
said
collected
anything like
12
that.
grand. But it was just weird because he's going on about it, like, and then he was like, well, what happened? What happened was the war came in. What happened is our main supporters, which is who we were expecting that was going to assist me, did. And that pretty much stopped a few months ago. So the stickers and stuff and our YouTube money's 200-300 a month. When this first started, we had like 400 a month coming in or something that was coming in. Guys, that shit gets taxed. Everything that came through that site got taxed, and then it went to PayPal, and PayPal got us too. We got hit twice on that go get me funding thing. And so the weird part is we have spent over probably even closer to 2,500. He's like, oh, I seen you got 3,500 on that site. Yeah, you notice that number didn't move, right? So if we spent 2,500 since January, the money is not going to stay forever. But as of right now, we have 100,000 put away. That's still around 3 grand. So he's like, "Oh no, you said you got 4 in stickers, and then you got 4 for this, and then you got 4 for that, and somebody gave you 5,000. They gave it directly to the hospital, and then they gave it to the clinic." I'm like, "What the hell? We did not get all of that money." So he goes, "You said it yourself." And I'm like, "No, we didn't. You kept adding things together wrong." But either way, it was another rant. I told George, I was like, "Where do they think the money is going? We said we were going to use it for current medical." It's like, it was that funeral, or when I get so sick, we have to hire a nurse. And that is where the remaining money will go, or we'll end up saving for the surgery. It's all in a pile, but we've already spent 2,500 already. It's like we're just kind of, and there were other expenses that we're covering just based on, having our own monthly income. But it's like, it's crazy how the rumors go around. And it's like, we told you guys weeks ago that the money is trickling, and it's $300 a month plus in medications. And the one funds only cover the heart doctor. So we have 2 other specialists. So it's just like, it's just an ongoing, I don't think I'm going to like this. This is my new, I keep fighting with this. And
Right.
I'm either going to have to cut them, or because it's driving me nuts. So it was a bad idea, I guess. Yeah, I don't think I like how it keeps moving, and I don't like how it lays because it's not more natural. It's more like, I don't know. So yeah, I thought I would try something different. So, but that's where I am on my other ranting and raving. Slick Rick saying is hi, 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 hi. Cute shirt, yeah. Lean back. We probably should put you on a prop you a little bit more. Let's see if this will help. I guess that does. So we can. You could take those glasses off, babe. That way you can. I know you can't read well with those. Yeah, don't look so sad, George. Just say one more thing. You always got to disturb my lives. You're fired, George. The $5 a month, I'm going to deduct you for the year. The 60 will just get deducted. We'll take some. You know what that looks like?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, something like that. Philippine Morning News, the rest of the story, right? Right? We've been watching all kinds of things. It's just been a crazy week, including where we had discussed what's been going on in Venezuela. Just insane. Them still finding people, and the horrific poor girl. Glad he is not American. We already look like monsters. Beyond that, right now, it's just getting ridiculous by the moment. Don't get me going. I'm a trigger people. Separation of church and state. Texas is actually saying they're bringing back in prayer, and they're going to lay things in that religion will be put into the academics. I don't get that. It's just crazy. He's the whole situation going on there is getting crazier by the moment. The cancellation of all the programs and all the cancellation of insurances, and we shall see how it goes. Yeah, Sarah's talking about, yeah, noise so loud you'll feel your teeth vibrate. No, this was insane. This was louder than New Year's. People didn't even have their music up till 2 in the morning, and we expect on New Year's. And I told George, if it was like Christmas and we knew the pageants were going on, it doesn't. For me, all the groups that want to be them. If you want to show off and do the male pageants for female, that's not the problem I have. But when you disturb, that's different. Then you done just like race. I ain't got a problem with this, and that. But when those specific people go on, it's not their color that bothers me. It's what the fuck they're doing that bothers the shit out of me. Oh, she's racist because it's a black party, or she's racist because they're all Filipino. No, hell no, it's not. It's your behavior and lack of sense in your head. It's like they ain't got no sense in their head, which reminds me of 12, 13-year-old kids. They just don't. I mean, what about all the animals in the neighborhood and the elder? I said, there isn't one elder in this neighborhood that's not saying anything. It's just like, yeah, come on. But it's not even holidays. It's not even, it was probably really down to a pride competition of dancing. The whole thing. They started, and it like the bass, you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't even hear yourself think at
No, it's
noon. At
insane.
12, they were practicing.
To
12 hours of boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you heard where it ruffles, like when people put them oversized speakers in the trunk, and then it was like, oh, and I was like, what the hell? We didn't need that. It's like,
breaks the house, that's exactly what
yeah, it was like waffling noises. I said, wow, that is too much. That's beyond regular music.
You can't block that. You cannot block that.
There was nothing
no way
we
to block
did. So we couldn't even, like, whatever television we were watching, whatever music we had on, it just made you crazy because that's all you were hearing, two things at once. And so I was like, what the hell? It was bad. No, noise pollution is real. They said they were going to start fining people. Did they? No. They said they were going to do something about the traffic and the e-trikes. Did that ever follow through? No. I've seen no follow through in 6 years here in this country. None, zero, zilch. And does it happen in other countries? Yes. But at least if somebody's speeding and doing this, and that, they're pretty consistent on hitting people with tickets. Here they are not. It depends on who you know and what you know, and they don't. They pick and choose who they're going to punish. It's really insane. Add in the other shit that drives you nuts, like out of stock. They don't know how to order. You go to get something from a restaurant and order. Like half the things are gone in the morning. And it's like, that's breakfast stuff. How'd you guys end up with none of this stuff? Like when we used to order a few months ago, was like they had nothing in the morning, nothing in the afternoon, their main items. I said, how can you be a chicken place and have most of your chicken items missing? It's like, again, they don't, it's normal and they normalize it. It's, yeah, it's kind of, and I think even you're starting to see a pattern where I bitched about this a lot in the beginning, but and I got pretty good, didn't I? I pretty much got quiet. I stopped. My bitching slowed down probably from 100% to about 50%. I'm always tired and sick and aching and hurting, and then it just like, but there's limits.
That was a bit much. No, it was. It like I said, it's heavy bass. And again,
Do the waffling noise. Tell me how it went. Yeah, sure. Give me an example, George, like I just did. It starts to blow up my nostril when
you really got me.
And then go.
No.
It sounded like you were in the middle of Compton or something,
Yeah.
and they were blowing bass as they were all sitting down there partying and stuff. And it's like, at least you can expect that for a while. And then they turned it off at a respectable hour, 11, 10. They would know it. But 1:30 in the morning, it was insane on a Sunday.
Canceling music on, and she said it's not working. I said it's not gonna work.
It was in the floor. It was
you cannot block bass. Nothing can block bass.
I have noticed that Asians in all countries are always trying to get into your business. Hey, Daniel, they want to know everything you're fine. No, and let me start to get in. Hey, Harry, good morning. And that'll lead me into this situation. So I'm going to bring up a video. And there's no audio. Why? Because I'm leaving it out for a purpose. So this was a part documentary done in the Netherlands. That's why it's blurry, because it's all stretched out. And the situation goes that Hans is a guy from the Netherlands, and he started out with some foot surgery or something. He was laid up for a while. He's 65 years old. And it turns out this started sometime in 24. So at that time, 62, 63. He started by sending money, right? So then you have where the guy is sending money. Now, in this video, I'll continue to play it. This is the son. That's the daughter, the blondish. I think that's her. Wait a minute. That's the Filipinos. I'll flip to the other. There it is. That's the daughter and son. They finally came to the Philippines along with a guy that's similar to Rafi Tulfo. There were Rafi Tulfo over there. And it became a big story. Why? Because when he was laid up, he took out a loan and gave this girl 24,000. I don't know what it is in pounds. That probably puts it closer to 26 or 27,000 US. And this was the beginning in 24. He started coming to see her. Then he actually moved. There she is. Look at her. And I'm telling you, the one thing that drove me nuts about this girl is look at her look. This family is here because their dad died, and she's making the nastiest faces in this video. Like, and I don't know how many of you seen the expression. I'm telling the truth. It's kind of like when MYK used to talk about Filipinas. Now I'm seeing it. This girl had zero respect for the family being there. When they asked her, did you love my father? She goes, I really cared about him, but the whole time she just didn't want, like, she couldn't be bothered. That is the vibe I told you I was getting from her. Like, she couldn't be bothered. The girl's 19 years old. So she was probably even underage when they started talking. He said he was lonely. So then he hooked on to a young girl that took him on, and basically she nursed it. He was looking for companionship. She was financially strapped. And her answer, she couldn't even say that she did. So what happened is that he ended up in the hospital and passing away. They claim they were engaged. We don't know that. They weren't married. There were no kids involved that we're aware of. And he was not to be, um, he was to be resuscitated and everything. According to the family and according to the papers they had, the man was to be saved. And she told the Filipino doctors, no, nothing to be done. You're to let him go, and they're not even married. So they let him go. He died. And after the fact, they spent close to 300,000 on a funeral, guys. 300,000. By the way, she's from Mindanao. And a lot of people like, oh, where does that got to play with anything? A lot of stuff going on in Mindanao. They were warned not to go. There was a situation because it is the red zone. That's where the kid got kidnapped. It's not, it's not, there are a lot of expats that live there, don't get me wrong, but the family had asked him not to. He moved there and all of this stuff. So he was in a danger zone, but down there out in that province, 300,000 is way too much for a regular wake. And it was just a small chapel, and his body sat outside. Then supposedly he was to be cremated and sent back to America. They believe he got poisoned, by the way. Why? Because she had him cremated shortly afterwards. So she did the funeral and the cremation. And allegedly, when he was to be sent back, they were sending his bags back too. They were loaded with a weapon and ammunition. And I'm just telling you the story that the Netherlands, the Rafi Tufo guy over there, had told. He said that it got held up for a few weeks, and I guess they still don't have him or something. So there's all kinds of things going on. They think the family put it in there so they wouldn't get his body, and I guess he's been cremated, something like that, give or take. There's something really crazy going on. So that's about what I have. Is it's down to a money situation. The family just wanted to, you know, get some of the story. And the other part is the day he died, they transferred 5,000 US or 5,000, about that amount, into a German guy's account. The sister also has a foreign boyfriend, and he was living in the house. So after his death, they used his card and bank information, and the money ended up in a German guy's account. He refused to come out and talk to him. So there's a lot of different things going on. What do you think of that?
Pretty rotten. But I mean, I'm not saying the family deserved it, but I'm saying is if you're that age and you pick up a 19-year-old, you're fooling yourself if you're thinking they're in love with you.
Yeah, it was
Can it
he.
happen? Yes, it can happen definitely. But usually, this type of love is something that's nurtured, that grows on, like as in friends,
Father,
hanging out,
friend.
that kind of deal for a long time.
Yeah, she probably answered
Right.
right. She cared for him was her answer.
But
Yeah, I believe that. I really
yeah,
do.
off the bat like that, no.
But transferring money after he passed away like that, you can't say she was in fear of not paying it. That's just illegal. You can't take somebody's card and go to an account or use their information and transfer money. They weren't married. They weren't
They weren't
nothing.
married. The key thing is they're not married. If they were married, it's a different story.
Yeah, no. So they were taking money out after the fact. And then in the end, in this show, they said nothing wrong. The brother and sister that were there, they sent someone out of the house to go get the police and the barangay captain on them. And it's like, wow, that to me is a sign of guilt. If you're immediately throwing attitude like she was and like she couldn't be bothered, and stuff. And then you say, oh, I'm getting the police. And you're like, where are they going? They said they're getting the police on you guys. And I'm like, what the hell? So they try to, usually guilty people try to flip the script on you like that. There's something that's just not right. They tried to totally flip it on them. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many things to this story that it's not the first time we've heard it. It won't be the last. And when you mention that, yes, the family members will get all up in your business. You know, we had somebody when we first moved in here, they were asking me questions. And it was like, I think it was one of the Barangay people or something. I don't remember. He had something to do in that situation. Yeah, he was asking me where I was from, where I was getting my income. And I'm like, why is this guy asking so many questions? Georgia said, just don't answer them. They were trying to get up in your business. I said, yeah, I'm not going to answer that. He was even asking me how much I made a month. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's that got to do with? I think you know who I'm talking about. I'm just not going to say his name out loud, but this was a couple years ago. And I'm like, yeah, no. So they'll walk by, they'll see you, they'll come say hi. As soon as you let them in the door, they're going to be up in your business. So it's, which is really strange that people would have the balls to go straight in and ask about income. Are you trying to think of who I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was recent.
Hold on one second. I got to tell them who it is because I don't want to say I'm definitely not getting this guy. So there was more than one.
Yeah, no,
George
no, no,
said,
no.
but
There's a more recent one.
yeah. So yeah, this happened like when we first moved in. It might have been when we had the repairs done or something. A lot of them get nosy, and I get it. It doesn't look like we're rich in here, but when they see you've got all these electronics, which we've had for years, it just looks like we're full of money. And they always assume because I'm a white expat for sure that we've got money flowing. So it was just kind of wild. So people will get up in your business. It's like that couple that got um ex-nade where somebody claimed they broke in. We said it was probably the nephew. Remember, the sister had a nephew and they both looked guilty as hell, but she was saying that the sister was always asking him, well, what day are you going to the bank? And right before that happened, she asked, what time in the morning was you leaving and stuff? And they got murdered the next day. So it was crazy. They killed both of them. So just got to be careful. You got to be careful with your information. And I want to say that, does it have anything to do with the age gap or a lot of these Filipinos or don't have the money and all that? Partially. I feel you're just as safe here as you are in America, but you got to be smart too. There's been a lot of weird shit happening, like the kids and the stabbing recently. We had there was an attack on the jeepney. These jeepney attacks happen all the time where these kids jump on and will rob people in the cities and stuff. And yes, you got to be on your P's and Q's, but the same shit could happen in New York, Chicago, Florida, Miami. It's just, you have to always be aware and do relationships work when it comes to the age gap or they live happily ever after and they're not scammed. The answer is, of course they do. We're talking probably two, maybe 3 out of 10, something goes wrong, where, they're being scammed or taken on. But I think it's a lot of it's desperation, George. There's a lot of people. When we say the unemployment rate here is low, and when they do get jobs, that it's still low money, it's a real thing. And it's that's all I gotta say about that. But the comments that came in were crazy, like the Filipinos are ashamed of her. They're like, I can't believe it. She's putting a bad mark on us, and that whole family was in on it. There was another foreigner in on it, which is not always a norm. But don't forget, these damn expats are no angels. We're not no angels. Chosen one, are you in the house? Talk about degenerates. That's where you're going to get the whole degenerate thing. It's another.
She's not calling chosen one degenerates, but chosen one said
Oh yeah, let me.
the expats here. In the
Oh, is he in there? Hey, what's going on?
Degenerates. No. No.
I didn't even see it. I haven't even scrolled.
No, he's not here.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, you said it's chosen one here, and they said, then you said expats.
Oh, I'm about ready to offend a little bit more. So
what I'm saying is, it sounds like
I'm gonna ask George if I can say this.
It's
Hold on.
chosen one that said that most expats
Hold on.
are. You know, nothing wrong with that.
I told George I'm about ready to be semi-racist. I'm always racist as long as you're having fun. It's okay. Kind of like George and his dental floss blind there. It's like sausage on sausage party here, and I'm joking because they're both from the same region, German sausages and Netherlands, and I'm just kind of poking fun. But either way, these and it could be that they knew each other. I'm not saying because they're in that region or whatever, or they're from that area of the world, but it is strange that soon as the guy was dead, they were all over his account and stuff. It was, but I'm telling you, it didn't cost 300,000. Even here in this city, the max, like max rate now, that I think they said it was going to be around 40,000 to cremate me, and that's because I'm not small, so it would probably been a lot cheaper. They did say it was by size and everything, and poke all the fun you guys want because I've already poked fun at myself. But it is true. I'm not just a regular sized Filipino, so it's like I'm at least taking two spots, bitches. So the whole point is even the guy, let's just say whatever that he was cremated and they did that. It didn't cost no 300,000 pesos. And the cops and the other people, the other Filipinos said there's no way in this area it costs that much. And there's just no way. 300,000. Can you get elaborate with a funeral here? Yes, but wouldn't there had to been a ton of flowers and a big party?
No, even
That would just be an insane thought.
in the church, yeah, but if and what I'm saying is, it has to be like one of the grand cathedrals here.
Right. It would have been a ton of flowers, and there would have
Yeah,
been like a band and another band.
yeah,
my
but if it's
band, my band.
like a local chapel,
Yeah, that's all it was. She's in a small area. So insane. Laura's like my street, Filipino, Filipino, black, black, Mexican, Filipino. Yeah, Japanese, one of the most diverse cities. Yeah. It's getting to be like that everywhere. I was telling George that when I moved out to the Ozarks, I told my story the other day talking about after that woman started ripping the kids off, taking their food stamps, their cash, taking items out of their house, I just couldn't deal staying. So I had quit my job, got out of the nursing, and went out to the Ozarks for a few years. When I went out there, like I said, it was a good old homeboy network. It was nothing but white cowboys out there. It was nothing but like white families. And then I told you guys I worked at the chicken plant for a while, and probably about 6 months. The only time I seen anything legitly foreign besides the chickens being foreign objects was the Hispanic people in there. And you got to remember, this is 1992 or something. So it's like they said that they started bussing them in to give them inexpensive jobs because they couldn't fill it with the white people out there. Even out in the country, so many people worked at the chicken plants. And that's not an easy job, by the way. My hat's off, kudos to anybody that works in those plants. It's 12-hour shifts where you're on your feet. A lot of it was in the freezer room. I was deboning chicken with sharp knives. You got cut all the time. I had to like that to keep some of the guys off me because they were always Pauly and stuff. Like they would lean into you because they were cold. I said, "Oh no, bitch, you ain't leaning into me to get warm." And I'd sit there and say, "Get back." So we'd make fun. But yes, there was a lot of Hispanics there, but very more diverse now than it would have been back in the 90s. I was telling George the good old days when you would see a foreigner and it was like a rarity. Not too much of a rarity, but you get my point. Now there's 1,000,001 Filipinos in America, and it's just like the same with, people are traveling more. And so I think it's great. And don't get me wrong, as much as people say, oh, Heidi hates to be there, she needs to get out. No, that's not hate. I'd slap you no matter what color, what race, where you're from, or whatever. Like I said, crazy and being pissed off don't know shit when it comes down to people fucking around. So, with the damn noise in here last night, didn't I say that? I said, I'm not going to know who I am. I said, I'm going to forget everything. Which shit. I said, that was insane. And I couldn't help myself. It was like being sucked back in because just as I'd start to fall asleep and it started getting quiet a little bit, it's because they were just talking at that point. And then all of a sudden it came boom, 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 boom. I said, God, man. And could you imagine me going over there and making a scene?
right?
And I'm like, what? There are no old people that aren't feeling cranky in this neighborhood? Because we know some Filipino older people can get cranky over here. I'm just like really shocked none of them went off because that's just like default no matter what country you're in. You get cranky and shit. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Do Filipinos suffer from hearing loss? I mean, wouldn't you agree? It seems like they got their music turned up in all places, in the weirdest places. You said that the other day. They're playing it in the malls there,
Yeah,
which
but
was normal
it's
back. But babe, they played music
yeah.
everywhere
What I'm saying
and
is
loud.
the hearing loss thing is no different than us going to Aerosmith concert or Megadeth concert.
But they're always loud. I don't know
I
why.
get
I get
that,
that
but
I'm loud too, but okay, yes or no? Does it seem that when you're speaking, some of them are overly loud than any country you've been in, or you're just not noticing it? Okay, I'll just have to find you some examples
I'm not
and start
saying
pointing them out because I guess we're getting used to it. We've been here 6 years. George was born and raised here and been back for 6 years, but it could be the new generation. But I just seen a girl that just did a video and she's got a half kid that is German and she got a toy for him. And the first thing she was extremely loud, "Oh my God, I got a toy." And I get they get overly whatever because they're on the internet and
well, the
stuff, but
newer
some of them are just
generation
loud.
are
And it could be I'm getting old. It could just
well, no,
be.
that's nothing to do with it. It's we've been there. We're Gen X. Well, me and Heidi are. What I'm saying is, you know how we always look at our children or the same generation our children as more crass. It's the same anywhere in the world.
And you're
The
right.
next generation is always more crass than the one previous and the one before. Like the newer generation now, as far as Filipinos are concerned, they cuss a lot. And even now, actually, again, I didn't start cussing up until I met Heidi. But anyway,
That is true.
but what I'm saying is,
True.
here's the thing. Even up to now, I still barely cuss. But
Yeah, he did
kids
more cussing
now,
at me. Yeah.
I
Oh,
was at
punk ass
I was at
bitch.
SM, and the clerks were cussing. And now here's the thing. That's nothing new because again, these are the new generation. I'm
It's
used to
true,
it.
Sarah.
But it was the weird thing was is the female cashier. She said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. I apologize for that." So
Well, I
so
used
somebody had
to.
some good upbringing. They knew it
No,
was
and don't get
inappropriate.
me wrong, because I just seen where Bookham was saying complaining all the time about Filipinos. It's like if I'm in America, I'd be bitching about what's going on there. It's just where it is. And but I'm telling you, there is a lot to complain about there. And I guess it's getting used to things and getting adjusted. And I will say it again, just because I'm here doesn't mean I have to accept it, lay down, and shut the fuck up about it. That I told you guys in the beginning, because it's getting old and it's getting old quick, shit like that. And it was just a matter of time before George would let me rant, rave, and discuss before he would be like he was yesterday. He said, "This is ridiculous." And I would probably say half the time you agree with me when shit goes down. Like we had the guys scouring through our trash the other day again, and they just leave it everywhere. And then one of our neighbors left their trash outside the gate, and all the chickens in the neighborhood get it. So this couple up the street turned their chickens and their two roaming dogs out to feed the neighborhood. Like they go out to pick trash, they don't want to feed their animals, so they turn them loose out of the yard.
It's a common thing, unfortunately, nowadays.
Right. And so the chickens get a hold of these bags and the trash went everywhere. There was a storm a few hours later, it all blew inside and George wasn't around. I was like, I can't go out there and pick that all up. Too sick to do that. It was like insane. But there's Bella, our cat. She's laying upside down, stretched out, and she's like watching these chickens upside down. And I was like, "What the hell are you doing, Bella?" And she's just watching the chickens go to town, dragging the trash everywhere. And I was like, "What the heck?" You'll get used to it, but why? I mean, why? And is it going to do me any good to bitch and rant? Kind of. It does for me, and it's just where it is. Kind of crazy. If you see anything down there, read it or
No.
that's the thing here. They have no consideration. And I thought that, and then I finally realized after living with George and seeing him in the United States, I called him an insensitive prick constantly. Did I not? That almost became your new middle name. And I said, "Why are you so insensitive? How can you stay quiet about things that would bother 9 out of 10 people?" It is passive aggressiveness. to a form of no return, and it almost seems, in my opinion, ingrained heavily. There is a form of respect that goes along with that. They are avoiding conflict, but you will see where Filipinos avoid Filipinos like the plague. You'll see them where work needs to be done and they'll do everything passively to get out of it. Like, I feel that this ordering thing through management and hiring, they'll hire 18 people, but then half the stuff in their store is not stocked. They'll hire half the neighborhood and have no money to do it, and then all of their friends and neighbors too. And their stores are empty. It's just like they're so, what I was saying is like blasé. It's like it is behavior of a young person that doesn't seem to have, it's like you're new in life and just trying to avoid things. And I think it's what makes them the best nurses and keeps conflict from happening with the foreigners. But us foreigners, especially Americans, Canadians, or otherwise, we want the conversation. And George, 9 out of 10 times, just passes it over because one, he probably doesn't want to get into, you're avoiding things to an extent. You told me exactly why, because you said you didn't want it to end up in an argument, or you were afraid of what I would respond to, or wouldn't handle the truth or something. You were just avoiding the end result.
Can't handle the truth.
No, I can handle the truth. You just need to, but you can't ignore somebody for days at a time. And Filipinos are the best at that. I've never seen any other culture in the world avoid like the Asians and especially Filipinos do. And they do, very passive aggressive. And again, the behavior is boundaries. The word of the day is now boundaries for me. They don't know, no, like I said, the trash situation. Nobody, or they just don't know, that a lot of them don't know about throwing trash away. A lot of them, and I don't know if that leads into the over pregnancies, the sexually transmitted diseases,
It does have a hand to it. It's not directly associated with behavior. It's kind of like this. Again, I'm gonna say something.
a lot of it's money, because you said you've seen a bunch of
Well,
condoms. You said Filipinos
like
aren't buying
here
them.
again. This kind of applies in the U.S. too, just so you guys know. A lot of times they have overage of employees to cover when somebody calls in, and the same thing as the Gen X thing I said earlier. The next generation,
No, the
next
new ones are
generation, the
getting.
newer generation, they always call in, both in the U.S. and here,
Hmm.
and so that's why they always overhire. You know what I'm saying? They get lazier and lazier, and I'm not saying this because
Everything
I'm
takes
spiteful.
forever. Yeah, and
It's
everything takes forever,
just pay
doesn't it?
attention.
You
That's
go to
all
the
they do.
bank, it takes us an hour when there's only 3 people in there.
Right.
They're sitting down in chairs, and instead of having us stand there, they make us go sit down
And
like
instead
three
of working,
times.
they're on their smartphone.
Yes, most of them are on their phones in the bank, and it's
again,
like,
this is in the U.S. and here too.
and
So it's a generation.
and I'm not saying all of them don't have like the business thoughts, but what about our debit cards like being replaced? That one time it took you 4 or 5 months just to get your first debit card from them. Instead of it being mailed here or something, we had to go back to one of the major banks to pick it up. But it's like it wasn't there, wasn't there. And you would think they would remember us. I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid a plus size woman with a little Filipino, but it's like, I don't know. It's there's a lot going on. There's so much to process. And this is going to test you like a mofo here. I'm going to tell you, I about lost my shit. You guys watched me rant and rave in the beginning because I'd never seen a culture like this. And then it's just kind of like, you ask them something, it's, I don't know. And it's just like
Now this kind of relates to the subject too, because you have to remember, one, it's it's a major age gap.
there
And what I'm
is.
saying is there's a huge disconnect between the two.
And just being from the Netherlands, or like me being American,
Cultural
if it
too.
wasn't for George being there, he grew up in the culture around, the military people here and grew up over here. And then 28 years in America, we probably wouldn't be getting along as well. And
No, I'm
people forget
familiar with
culture.
American culture.
Yeah.
Me and Heidi talk about stuff that isn't about the U.S. like a long time ago, and I know exactly what she's talking about. But
And we have a lot in
most
common, like
Filipinos,
classical
they
music
don't
and
know.
music, and we love music. I said we both worked at a movie theater. And so I just don't think these people have anything in common except for he's like, yes, score. She's only 17 because she had to be young because she's only 19 now. And he said in 24 and he just died. So my guess is she was underage. And that's another thing I got to mention. I don't think it's worth an entire live. One form or another keeps showing up in our Facebook of these AFAM foreigners because we're on a couple of the expat forums. They keep popping these up. These girls, one of them said, I'm 15 years old. I'm 13 years old. And they're on these dating sites putting these photos. Now, George seems to think the one was 18 just saying that. And that's a good chance she was trying to bait them in just to bait them because she looks that young and they want him that young, but they don't remove them. They have several moderators. Nobody removes them. But the one today was disgusting. She was definitely around 13. And I said, I can't believe it. It's like, it's insane. But it makes me think, is it her being old horn dog because she's a teenager and she's just wanting a foreigner and starting early? Or is that the parents putting her up to it?
Or
There's
it could
so
be
much.
friends too, not necessarily the parents.
Well, I did say with the internet now, when I was a certain age, you'll hit that spot of 12, 13, 14. You're looking for that father figure. Even if he's in the house and he's ignoring you, they start looking for when, we're 12, we got the mind of an 18-year-old at that point, and then the boys are still stuck at 9 or something. It's like they drop down a couple levels. And it's like, I don't want to hang out with these young kids. And so with people online, it's just causing these girls. But I think the poverty levels that exist here heavily are just pushing the people. But the fact the moderators, I told George that there's one or two other pages that a couple years ago blocked everything we posted, even when it was help videos, even when it was just help information. They blocked everything. Same 3, 4 big ones that are out there. Now they're allowing any monkey to post, and they're letting, sorry, I'm going to call them monkeys because it doesn't matter what nationality. They're letting idiot vlogger post the stupidest shit. And they're not even Filipino forums. And most of it's Filipinos. It's Filipinos. Somebody was selling a goddamn coffee mug. I about lost my goddamn shit. I said, what the fuck? This is an expat forum. What the fuck are they selling fucking coffee mugs? There's 2 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back at looking at these dumbass mugs that they sell on Lazada. And what's up with that, George? What's up with these Filipinos and these damn videos on Lazada and Shopee and TikTok where I'm short of some red lipstick and stuff, but it's like they're selling nothing but snacks and candy all day. And I get it, but it's like, what the fuck?
No,
It's just like it's like insane.
no, it is.
The
It
forums
is.
are full of advertisements beyond, and it's mostly expat. It's mostly
And
Filipinos
I
with no
hate to
help.
say this.
They block us, and it's when I wasn't loud, guys. I was not always this loud in our channel. We were initially doing a lot of help, and then evidently people loved the drama. I'm not being dramatic enough.
Now here's the thing. This is
Hey, that might actually work.
a mathematical analysis on the TikTok thing. Because here, I know in the U.S. There's not a TikTok store, at least not
Well, that's not. It
not
says
recently.
I didn't even
But
ask to
anyway,
buy. They were like, you cannot buy, blah, blah, blah.
right.
But there are TikTok shops where
Yeah.
people are having shit
So
delivered.
here's the thing about TikTok shops here. A lot of them sell snacks and candies. You know why?
Constant.
Yeah, you know why? Because mathematically speaking, the one watching your TikTok is a kid who does not pay the bills. You understand? And then the phone belongs usually to a parent. And if they buy said candy,
Oh
yes,
my
kids
God.
are kids.
Thank you,
Cha-ching.
Zapper. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And that's why they usually sell snacks. But anyway, yeah, chosen one's in the
Hey,
house.
Ted.
Finally.
Hey, Chosen One. We were talking
Yeah.
about the degenerates. So basically, if you missed it, for those that are coming in, there was a 65-year-old man, 19-year-old girl now that met in 2024. I'll give you a basic wrap up. There was a broken foot or surgery when he was back in the Netherlands. He was super lonely. He knew he was being desperate. He said he was being desperate. He then met this girl online, had to be around 17. He sent her sent her around. I said how much the amount was, 24,000, because he's out total 30,000 or plus right now, euros. He sent her that money, but he took a loan out to give her. Imagine getting 24,000 in the Netherlands and making payments. That's not cheap. He sent it to her. He came here to the Philippines, started seeing her and everything. Matter of fact, I think she was younger because he said he didn't come to see her until 2024. So he's been here. The man died and he was supposed to be saved. She said that she did not want him saved. So the son and daughter showed up here trying to find out the day that he died. They have proof that she took money out and then she had it put into another foreigner bank account. Surprise, surprise. The sister also has a foreign boyfriend that's German. He's from Netherlands, the one that she was with. So he's 65. She's 19 when he passes. And then they claimed the funeral was 300,000. Then the body was supposed to be sent back. There was ammunition found with it in his luggage that they were sending back with him. So then the body was kept, and she then had him cremated like it was planned. There's all kinds of stuff in the possibility of this story, but it was covered by a Netherlands host that's like Rafi Tulfo that just about had it. He came over with the family. They then threatened to call the cops on him, on the family. They came to ask questions. They just wanted to know what was going on. And she had no answer. I started to show the video that the girl was just like, the attitude was horrible. Like, I can't be, she kept doing this stuff. And it's like, they're asking you questions. You took money out of their father's account. They're lucky that she wasn't prosecuted. They still could file stuff against her. You can't go into some man's account like that and just take money and then hand it off. So, but you know what? I will give credit that there's possibility there was another side to the story. We've already said that before in the past. It could be he wrote something out and said take the money for the funeral. Maybe it was taken out beforehand. There could be some other things.
The thing is, no, Heidi's absolutely right. I was going to say that.
And at the last minute,
at the end of the segment, yes.
At the last minute, like right now, George knows I'm not to be resuscitated, but I may get down to my deathbed. Right. I may change my mind. I might get down to choking so bad, needing air. I may say, save my life no matter what. We know this shit does change.
There's no formal DNR, but it's possible he wanted a DNR. But there's no physical evidence.
Yeah, the kid said that he's...
Now, same thing with the money, and like Heidi says, it's possible he did say that, because it's kind of like this.
Yeah, because I have my own account.
Because
I told George any money is to be used for this, and that. So it's possible the instructions were given.
Yeah, and I'm not going to name any names, but I'm pretty sure some of these expats that are on YouTube that have passed away, I'm pretty sure they said the exact same thing, to take out the money once they're gone.
Yeah, it's possible. So that, I want to give credit on both sides of the story. We never have, the full story. Now, I don't know if I want to say the same for the guy that choked the 17-year-old prostitute with some wording that she might have been on her period. He had tons of scratches on him. Her face was beaten in. Maybe they were both on shabu and went nuts over drugs, and maybe it was just a full fight or something, and he went too far after she hit him. I mean, you guys know women. I've watched them time and time again attack a man, and when you're struck a couple times, if a man snaps on you, I always say a woman puts herself in the shoes like that, and you start hitting on your man, and he just slugs you, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm calling the cops. It's like, bitch, you was given just as good as you just took. So we don't know. But in the end, he did dump her body. So maybe he went too far, choked her out. There is no excuse. The guy's going down. He's never getting out of the Thai prison. And he admitted it. He, on video, the one we've been watching the last few days, he actually said he was sorry to the family. I think he even said it wasn't what it appeared. But if it's the small story we heard, she was on her period and it freaked him the hell out. Maybe he withdrew his willy and seen the blood and freaked the hell out. It does freak a lot of men out, does it not?
I don't know what kind of pussy you are.
George, you just nasty to begin with, so I don't want to hear your freaky deek Bangkok stories of being pissed on and rolled in carpets and used as a tampon. I mean,
obviously he's old enough to stick it in, and is he that?
Some men freak out. Anybody heard of men freaking out?
I've never heard of it, and you're a pussy if you do.
Well, it could very well be some, who knows, but that's what the story's out there saying. Again, allegedly.
I think it's an excuse.
Well, either way, he's going down. See, he might have said that, but he says it's not. So, hey, remember, there's always two sides of the story, just like us. And the shit being said, which, speaking of which, Daniel wants to know, speaking of Tulfo, did he ever get back? Well, if he did, we would tell you guys for sure. And we didn't expect to. There are thousands a day applying to him. And in order to get in, I and George would have to go down there and sit maybe 1 or 2 days. And I don't have 1 or 2 days. I can't even sit at the airport long enough to get on an airplane. So me taking a trip that takes an hour to get to him alone in a car, there's no way I would last an hour in a car. So unfortunately, we have emailed and contacted him with no result. And we didn't expect to. We didn't say, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope situation. We already knew when the money slowed down a few months ago that was it. We knew, which we're grateful for. It's helped paying for medication, my hospital bed. When we got the new oxygen machine, I had to get a breathing machine for treatments, and it's paying for my other two specialists. Again, we got funds that are to pay for my blood work and my heart specialist. It's a whole different clinic than the hospital. I've now agreed to go into a public hospital. They have a newer one here. So instead of 30 or 40,000 US, we're probably looking at about 20. I doubt that I'm here long enough to save the money, but we have hope with the medication, and I have good days and bad days. So, I mean, you can't live forever with a cardiac output of over 2.5. It's just my blood is only coming in about a third of the regular people's, and it's causing shortness of breath. I'm full of fluid by midday. I'm having a lot of issues right now, but it's one day at a time. But no, I didn't think so. I mean, I myself have said he's an asshole for possibly not responding, but then I had to pull back and say he's getting thousands of requests. I'm probably nowhere in his radar. If you don't show up, it's actually saying his emails are full. It literally comes back and says they're not taking anymore. So what do they call that when you get that error message in Gmail? It's not. It's rejecting it now officially. So I guess there's a point where the whatever amount they have in there it's over full. And we didn't expect to. The ones that have ended up on a show manually went in, like Armstrong. His wife went in there and sat there for a while. And unfortunately, we do not have that. Hey, 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 shit shows in the house. Hey, hey. When do we these are normal, except for we had a power outage the other day. So this week and last week we had a different one. So it's listed on the about us and inside of every video. So in the Philippines, it has been Mondays, which today's Monday in the Philippines, Wednesday in the Philippines, and Friday. We used to do it on Saturday. We changed a few of those days, months and months ago, probably even 6 months ago. It's 3 times a week, and we usually do about 2 videos, which you're due for. You were going to that outing that you had. You were going to show some of your outing because he had the one that showed the inside of that hotel and the what's it called? You said you were going to give us one where you went to Subic.
Oh, well,
You did. You said you were going to create a video out of that. Why do you look surprised there? Not enough content with leaving the familia out.
the girl.
I don't give a shit about the girls. I know you a cheating dog anyways. I already assumed that. That's why I put shit in your food and drink. I've been putting my mustache hairs in there for weeks.
that that
And in your ears.
that gives you meaning shit and die.
Not really. Because I've been putting that in your pie.
Right.
Someone the other day said, I forgot what it was, fake. They called us fake or something on one of those fight videos. Said, bitch, we ain't got to fake that shit. That shit's real. I hate George all the time. I mean, that's right. That's what you mean. We've been together now for almost 7 years, and we're like what's considered retired, where we're always on top of us. If it wasn't for the last, 2 years you've been going more to your family house because we were locked down in COVID, and then he wasn't always going over there. Now he goes out and visits friends more and gets out. It's like I don't know. I'd probably choke him.
COVID costs a lot of breakups.
Actually, it did.
Too
So
much time together. It's a
mhm.
bad thing.
Right. And it's hard because then he slowed down on doing the channel. And I told you guys a bunch of shit about him. And then it was like, it is what it is. He's passive and there's a lot of things. I always put passive on George because he avoids things and he would rather just walk away. But you have to deal with issues. He's getting better. You good boy. You good boy. You're getting here. Let me scratch. You're getting better at that, George. He's been conversating and he's learning boundaries. Show me your boundaries, George. Where's your boundary? No, I thought you were going to stand up and get in your pants. That's not your boundary, you little weasel.
No, she always says, "Okay, that's enough."
That's enough. Yeah, usually I do. It's like I can't breathe. Never good to give information out here to anyone, especially what visas you have. Yeah, I'm telling you, we've had people respond because I no longer say I'm American. I hide that passport at the bank. I give it directly in, put it directly back as soon as possible. Why? I'm embarrassed as fuck. I don't want to be confronted about what Donald's done to the world. He just hasn't fucked America. He's fucked the world on everything. And he's one greedy person right now. And unfortunately, I don't even mention it. And if they do, I say I'm Canadian. And they just look at me. Like, remember the French girl? She got pissed off because she thought I was laughing at her. Hey, look at Gugu. Gugu Bear's trying to get in my little bucket of stuff. I got like a little bucket that has meds and lotions in it next to the bed. Stay out of there. She does one out. And she thought I was laughing at her, but she asked me where I was from. I said, Canada. And so I started laughing, and George started laughing, and we were like little hyenas at the same time laughing in key, right? And she goes, what's wrong? Or something. I said, never mind. I'm American. I'm just teasing about being Canadian. She got pissed. She walked away, didn't she? She didn't even. You can't mess with the French, man. These Europeans are like, and she just took off. It was hilarious. We done pissed that French bitch off. Yeah, she did. Remember, and then she just went away. And it's like, just walk away, lady, walk away. And yes, I called her a bitch because that's what she freaked out. And I'm like, it's a joke, but I'm surprised that Filipinos, a little bit more the modern ones, do take jokes a little better. A lot of them are comedy because they're doing a lot of YouTubing and TikTok. So they're a little easier going than the older generation when you make jokes.
Just don't joke about certain things. No. What I'm saying is, for example, like
Wiener
saying,
Shinisho.
if you're
Hey,
like,
second win.
If you're at the NBI and they ask if who this gentleman is, I don't know. Don't say stuff like that.
Yeah, I said that when we were at the NBI. I've been there several times getting my clearances, and George was behind me. And like when I came in, there were like 50 people in line, and I did have an appointment. I just didn't think they would take me straight in. They took me straight to the back, and usually you stand in line to do your stuff. So they took me in and let me sit down. But George came behind me. They were ready to close the door on him. He said, "Who's this?" I said, "I've never seen this guy in my whole life." And he said, "Hey, don't joke around like that."
Yeah.
I said, "He's my husband." Oh my God, George. I officially have been put in my place on age and looks. And I knew I lost my looks a long time ago. I done accepted that. I'm older. And I've gotten fluffy. Thank you to the sugary Filipino food and steroids. Brought to you by Filipino Sugary Foods and Steroids is the new Heidi. What did the guys say when they come to clean the air conditioning? Oh my God, I was so insulted for the rest of the day, and I figured it's what he said. Go ahead, George. What did they say? What did the young guy say to you?
Are you her caretaker?
Because I was sitting here, right? And I mean, I'm just sitting here like boobs out, no bra.
I probably should have said yes, and she pays me.
And kisses and food.
200 pesos a day. That's probably what
You should next time do that next time, because that's not the first time. Like when I was half this size, we had the guy on the E-Track, the gay guy asked you, was your wife or something. He was all brokenhearted, remember? And we had a young kid that asked the same thing. He said, "Is that your mother?" And I'm like, where do they get that at? It's like, and then too, I get the size makes people think things, but it's when I had all my hair and fluffy. Now, I didn't have a wig on or anything, so I did look like, because my hair is super short right now. So I thought maybe it's because I look like I have cancer because all my hair was falling out. And for those that know, I actually have clipped it really short. Well, it got really clipped short recently. And so it's like, I get it, but I think it just has to do with where I look older than you. And just, I was like, damn, I just caught that he asked that question. It's like, are you caretaker? Could be because I just looked sick.
Yeah,
Because I've been
Rob
extra
says
pale.
hashtag
There's,
cancel culture.
yeah. And because the oxygen machine I'm on. So I do, I'm sick. And so the guy, that could be why he was asking, but it's like, George, you ain't all that in a bag of chips, man. You're just some chicken feet on a stick here. What you talking about? I can replace you in a minute, man.
No, I disagree.
I'm joking, George. Look,
No.
George is heartbroken. Don't be heartbroken here.
No, I'm stale chicken feet on a stick.
You're the ones where I seen where they took a pair of scissors and clippers and they cut the bones out, and then they just left the skin around there. They took all the bone out. So you could just eat. They took the nails off and pulled them out like I did on the last person I tortured. The one that we took out back and the expat that we didn't like, and we pulled his nails out. They pulled the nails out of the chicken feet, and then you cut the tendons here, and then you pull the bones out of the hand. Oh, anyways, that's what they did to the chicken feet, and then they tried to put it back on a stick.
Yeah.
Oh, there was something I seen the other day. They took it to another level on SUV Law and Order, right? And it's like, there I was watching SUV Law and Order, and it's like they were going through a crime, and I'm like, where was I in 1998? Let me think about it. Oh, damn, was that me? You're like wondering after a while, half tired at 3 in the morning. It's like, maybe that was me that committed that crime. Dun, 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 dun. It's like, well, I just got it the other day that they're all certain types of crimes. George says, you now just caught on to. I thought because I haven't watched a whole bunch.
SVU, some
Right,
SVU,
Law and Order. Right, so I didn't catch.
special victims.
Right, I just didn't catch. I just thought there were all a lot of bad things about kids and people being attacked and their pants being snatched off, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm like, George, I was like, and then I really listened to the beginning, and I'm like, oh, okay. I said, that's why. Dun, 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 dun. But the man died with his money, and then it was taken, so that's positive. He sent her 24,000. He never got that back or any of the other money. And it seems like they're also just saying the family was draining him. Like, there's all kinds of, there's more to the story, people. It's just there's not a lot of information except for the guy from the Netherlands covering it because the family's still not getting their answers. And then what the family said. And so it is a lot of he said, she said. But we wanted to cover it because we know that this isn't a rarity anymore. And like George said, when we got together, George bought me all kinds of things too. And I had access to his account shortly before we were married and then after. The same with as he has now. You just have to trust the person. Like you said, you didn't care. When we decided to move here, I'm the one that went in your bank account and bought tickets. You see what I mean? It depends, and would they later say if George ended up at the bottom of the stairs in a barrel and then stuck out back and all of his bones separated from him and left near the little drain pipe where the where the washer is, and there's it goes down in that hole and everything, and they found him in a million pieces, would they be like, he gave her access to the bank account, that was your mistake?
Well, the difference is we're married. So.
Well, beforehand you did, or was that
Yeah.
or
before we were married, yes.
What I'm
saying is,
yeah, that was with permission and everything. And we don't know. She might have had permission. That could have been her attitude, red lipstick or not. That's me just being dramatic. She might have always had it.
Do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So there's a lot to be learned. What is really going on is, you just got to be careful because not everybody has good intentions. It's just not Filipinos. It's just not, it's everywhere. It's Americans. It's Hispanic. They just found those people over in Mexico. They found that couple in a mass grave with like six other foreigners or something. And that happens a lot too in Mexico. If you get nabbed and the money doesn't pay off or you run your mouth, these guys might have ran their mouths too long. They ended up in a mass grave. So it's just not, it's, nowhere is safe anymore. Not even in your own freaking bed or your own backyard. It's like people that have been married for 30 years. You would never think they would just snap one day. And you find long-term happy marriages that appear to be like that with family, and family's like, oh, everything's okay, and then he or she has a side piece with another family, another kid, and then either the husband decides to leave or the wife, and they off the other, just boom. It's like they lose their senses and stuff. So
Scott got you beat.
what, the chicken feed or you near the drain
Scott
pipe?
Says Lumpia siyang George.
Ooh.
That's not only do you get rid of the body, you make money too.
I've really, I'm like, how would I make money if Social Security dropped out and George still decided to give me attitude? And it's like,
Thanks, Scott.
I could take little baby slivers of skin off of you very delicately. First, I'm going to rub you down with soy sauce and smoke flavoring and coconut oil. And then I'm going to take little teeny slices of your skin and meat, and I'm going to put them in the dehydrator. And I'm going to open that store. What did I say? I was going to name the store out front. Do you remember, besides Lunchbox? No, I mentioned, what did I say was going to be the name of the business? Not the bacon and candle one. I just said one yesterday.
Yeah,
I'll have to think of it, but I told him that what was we going to sell? It was just going to be like one item and it would probably sell well. I forgot. One was Lunchbox. I said, I'm just going to throw anything in a brown paper bag and just sell it. Mom's lunch. You're going to get whatever. I don't care. It'll be leftovers in the fridge. I'll put a cold hot dog and some rice, and it's just going to be like a niche thing. It's like, shut up and take your lunch. That'll be 300 pesos, But no, I came up with something yesterday and we started laughing about it. It's just going to be one name. Oh, I was going to sell. I don't want to say it because I don't want to give it away. We might actually use it down the road. That new thing that we got from Vietnam. It's something from Vietnam. Yeah. And then I was going to.
Yeah, no.
Oh, did I say? Okay, I did. We can't say the word. So anyways.
Yeah, but real quick, for those who don't get the
I think I was just going to call it dirty candy.
Lumpia Shanghai is essentially an egg roll, except what's inside is basically ground pork and vegetables. And it's really, really insanely good. But anyway.
Oh, Bookham and Panay, we discussed the type of person you are. I'm surprised you haven't brought up Trump and the Trump deranged syndrome. You fall into that category of being passive. So this is either the Filipina saying this or this is really Bookham, the old dude, saying something. Either way, I'm sure for a fact the stuff that you say, one, you just go against things and you're just a cult follower. You, no matter what we say, good or bad, you always have something to say. It's wild. One time, all the whole time you've been there, you've complained about one night on a weekend noise. Well, let's see. That's at 7:43. No, not really. We're waiting for the room to build, but it doesn't matter what we say. You either join in, you always go opposite. And you, my man, my good man, get offended all you want about me saying you being a Trumper, because every time we mention Trump, you always go against what we say, and it doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. I'm glad that I live rent free in your head during these live streams, and I love discussing with you. Rent free. They've got, you talk about Trump deranged syndrome, they've got several things for these new Trumpers. You're just a cult follower. You're outright, anybody following that and saying that he's the greatest president on earth right now is, I'm sorry, there is something wrong, seriously wrong with what this man has done. It's just insane. Maybe they are loud because of the hearing loss in family. Oh yeah, talking about him being loud. Yeah. And I thought it was just a neighbor at first. And then I'm like, if it's a short period, I'm okay. But I said, George, it's 10:30, it's 11:30, it's 12:30, and it just never stopped. And like I said, I told him I could accept that it was the holiday or Christmas or that it's the certain time of the year, but it's not even that. More than likely, they did all of that and disturbed the neighborhood over a visual competition of dancing TikTok dances, or it was about
Well, and here's the thing.
a pageantry. These people have no money for food. Their kids are hungry, but they've spent $100 on a dress. It doesn't make any sense to me. They do it in America too,
And
but
again,
here
you
it's
guys have to
crazy.
realize too. I'm pretty 100% sure Heidi's not the only one complaining about this.
They just don't say nothing, and they've got more of
Oh
the
no, they
ability
say
as
something.
Philippine.
They just don't follow the cops in it. But I think somebody did because it did turn down.
Yeah, at 1:15,
Yeah, 'cause
1:30,
they
it
had
finally
to say,
stopped.
no,
You could
no,
still hear
it's
it at 1:30, but the
it's
bass
not
went away.
it's not again. It's again. It's you guys again. Like Heidi says, when those cars with bases they drive by your house and your whole house shakes. That's what it
It
is.
went on
It was
all day for
horrible.
12 hours. 12 hours that went on yesterday.
Music is one thing, noise is one thing, but
The
bass
bass that
shakes,
vibrates and
that
scares
vibrates,
animals and
that's
hurts the hearing. It was
that should never
ridiculous.
happen anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Period.
And so they just weren't. And the crazy part is 90% of them,
Unless you're in the front.
90% of them were not from this neighborhood. They come in here like we have a market in here. They take up all the, which is another
That's
trigger.
another thing.
They come in here for the
they
market.
push
They
it,
come in,
like-
they push their luck.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. There is a night market here. Keyword night market. Guess what? These mofos show up at freaking 11 o'clock in the morning.
And it doesn't even start till 4 or 5
they
at
start
night.
blocking the roads and crap like that. Like, dude, it's a night market. You know what I'm saying? I get the
And
you have to make money, but yeah, people live here. These are roads people use.
So they block. That's another thing.
No,
The way they
block the
drive, the
roads.
way they cut you off. It's like they won't even look. And then it's not because they just forgot to.
And they
No,
drive
they
far.
just drive that way.
Yeah.
There's no. So again, this is a full form of passiveness and just where there's no consequences here in the Philippines.
Well, there
That
are, if you
not
know-
a whole lot.
if you know the right people. No.
Right. Well,
And again, not going into that part.
you get my point that if there was, then there wouldn't be the constant trash on the ground or the other things going on
And I
or
hate
the
to say
driving.
this, I
There's
was gonna
not
say
enough
the same
people.
thing. I think the one who did the whatever that thing was last night knew people. So
Yeah,
why.
that's it, because the guy up here, he is a multimillionaire in pesos and he's got an oversized compound. He knew what was going on. His house was vibrating. But that also, everybody over there is a constituent. And he knew it was going on. So did all the barangay captains, the police. Everybody knew that was going on, but nothing. So there really no reason in it. George is 5'6". I met him, same height. Yeah, we are small people. Many Filipinos are actually tall. Actually, George is the tallest in his family, and he is taller than a lot of Filipinos. But then again, I've been seeing more and more the new generation. They're like 6 foot tall. There's a lot of tall Filipinos here, but George is above average.
Yeah, but I'm really short in the U.S.
No, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, my nicknames in the U.S. is Big Guy, which everybody knows in the U.S. That's
I called you
short
little
for
guy.
Hey Shorty. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, little
Big,
guy.
Big guy is,
I just got to the point. Right, babe? Hey, little guy. At least I was.
right.
At least I cut to the chase. George says, yeah, she's just going to say it. True, no sense of urgency here. Yeah, that's why I think they've adapted very well in Hawaii. Yeah, island time. Yeah, it is, and I can respect that because they're like, okay, they don't have to rush like you, and they don't that, and that's why they like being here. And it's like it's beyond some of that, but yet, like when they're in traffic, though, they try to run you over, don't they? Like they're in an urgency on certain things, and then yeah, it's crazy. And like I said, I've always described it's like the 80s and summer camp and all of this stuff here. And that's a good thing. And it's good that they take their time. But as I tell people, most of the people, like I just seen an American woman that was over on one of the main islands, like, look like Boracay or something where it's all fancy. She's just here on vacation talking about it's the best place she ever seen, and she could see why people live here. But she has only been here a short period of time. Like, she hasn't lived here. Living here long term and along with the people for the rest of your life, and actually being here, it's like, I've been here 6 years. You will see all kinds of things, just like in America. People have one dream. They get there, they go to Disney World, they go around, New York, other places, and they're like, I'm going to stay. Everything's so great and exciting. And then they get into things where they're being mugged, or they're getting into bad traffic. Things happen everywhere. I get it. It's like here, once you get into it, then you will see some of these things happening. But for me, again, it's not a deal breaker. It's, about the only thing I discussed over the last couple years is when Georgia's Social Security comes in, if it does before it gets canceled, he still qualifies. Then, I said with that type of double Social Security, I said I would move over to Clark into one of those places over there. Traffic's a little more in control, a little bit cleaner. Who just moved over there? A couple of the vloggers had moved over there, and he said it's a difference between day and night being over on Clark alone. And so, yeah, it'd be nice. And, I don't know about, I've discussed condos over time, but I worry about like elevators and getting around with the storms. And there's different things to and not to. And you could still run into noisy neighbors there, but probably not as bad when you're dealing with the chickens and the barking dogs. And so that's the only thing that I think I would do is move over to Clark if we had double the income.
And actually, here's another thing. Something it's small, but it's worth mentioning. Heidi mentioned Clark. Certain parts
Hi,
of Clark
Rob.
is PWD friendly. Certain parts. Also, remember if you're PWD, well, more on the physical side. What I'm saying is, for example, if you're wheelchair bound or you need a crutch or something like that,
Mhm.
try to always live on a first floor level, no matter where you live. For example, when I went to Alongo, like Heidi says, um, the elevator when we went there, it was down. And what I'm getting at is, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you live in a condo and you're PWD, that elevator could be down for an entire day or worse, maybe longer.
Well, what if it's one of these earthquakes or fires? You would have a hard time dragging yourself out if you're up on that.
Yeah,
That'd be my only
that's what I
concern.
was getting at.
There's
Yes,
enough houses for the price of condos. They'd still be what, 30,
right.
35,000 over there. So we might as well get one of them old houses that were on the
Yeah,
base or something new. But it's a little bit more different over there than it is living in this area over here. It's more modernized. They've got tons of
yeah,
things.
and same thing. Power outages. Elevators don't usually run if there's a power outage unless they have a backup generator, which is not. A lot of them do, but some of them don't.
There's enough houses you could get
Yeah.
that are, but here's my misconception is when we rented one for our birthday a couple years ago, I thought they'd be more spread out, but no, those things are on top of each other over
Hmm.
there too. So you want to be in the right area, but there are the areas to do it, but it's like a pipe dream right now. So, and by the time you get your social security, I'll be dust to the wind. Dust in the wind, unless this medication
Oh,
keeps me
they were,
preserved.
they were playing that on the radio yesterday.
Hey, Sammy, the bull says Heidi and George, much love from Rome, Italy. What is going
That's awesome.
on? Yeah. Second win. My second theme song is Keith Whitley's If You Think I'm Crazy Now, You Should Have Seen Me When I Was a Kid, right? I've done everything Hank did but die, right? And ain't because I did not try, right? We were just talking about the generational differences and what we survived and the different things. It's nothing like these kids. I just seen the comedian, an older one, going on about all this protective services and all the safe spaces, and I said, oh hell no. It's like you wonder how these kids even survive. And if you cut off the internet, they're nobodies right now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We just seen where a woman in China, the new gig work is these people are traveling, going to concerts there and other countries, and they're taking people's screenshots of their phone that proves their accounts are there. Like it'll be a TikTok with their name on it. She's putting it up in front of the singers on stage and taking a shot of an arm. They actually think that's the person at the concert. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just AI that if you're faking that? But they're paying her big money to go places and take photos of their social media. And I'm like, they can't impose that as real as AI is getting. It just wouldn't make any sense to pay somebody $100 to do that or something. But being at places now are so faked. It's the most top thing that's done. Most of those people aren't even where they say they are. They're just in there looking. When they say it's their house, it's just a 1 day Airbnb. It's just unreal. But yeah, they're making tons of money. But either way, if you cut down the internet on these people, that's it. They wouldn't have any existence whatsoever in making money or anything that they do. It's a new generation. We really, really did have. How far down is that? Let me see. You can do a shout out. I'm trying to find that. Someone had done a sticker in here. It's
Rob
further.
says safe places and trigger words.
Thank you, Rob. Thank
stupid.
you so much. I appreciate it.
All things these kids say or do now. You can go straight to heck. Oh yeah, no, sorry, Rob. I was having a hard time reading
Hey,
your
saying hi
thing
to
'cause,
Scott.
YouTube like grays out like your some of your messages only because it just didn't like certain words that you said, so it grays it out on my screen.
Oh, does it? It says here, one of my PTSD reasons George probably remembers the Bolino 52, the
What now?
yeah, the cannibalized in 1988. Wow. Rob also said the other reason was because I passed the orders to shoot down the civilian Airbus in the Strait of Hormuz that killed 300. Jeez, I feel so sad with what's going on and even this current war over there. And I do still believe the closer they get to November, he's going to push the troops in there officially. Like I know they've been talking about it, but it hasn't happened. And it's very sad. It's extremely sad. I reposted a video on Instagram where
Night,
all
Laura.
these soldiers, good night, Laura, where they all appear to be under 20. And this girl went around and asked all the other soldiers why they were even there. And only 2 out of 50 said it was to serve their country. All the rest of them was like, I have no idea why, because I needed the money. My family can't afford college. And none of them were any other reasons except for some just didn't know why. To avoid jail, some of them said, so I don't beat somebody up, or there was a lot of wild answers.
Right.
But it's just the new generation and stuff. And I'm sorry, under this Trump administration, who would want to go into war for Trump? He's a multi-billionaire that has only doubled his money, and all the stuff that he's doing is only lining the pockets of billionaires. No, we don't expect things to be handed over to foreigners and other people, but when you're cutting out programs researching cancer, when there's 100 things that he's cut out already. And so unfortunately, what is there to serve? He said no war. He said he was going to help with this. He said he was going to help with that, and none of it's happening. I could not see serving. I love my country, and I could see fighting for the people if we were being attacked on shore. But I can't see going into Iran on something that's been going in forever and a million years with no proof of these nuclear situations. There's never been any proof, has there? Has he presented anything that has shown anything?
No, there's no definitive.
Okay. But yeah, so, praise the people in the military for the reasons that they're in there.
Scott has 2 months left, and he's going to be back.
Aw, I know you're excited. Your wife and her
Almost done.
business, and she's just been so proud. We've been watching her post the food. She's been making me hungry for some salty food, that's for sure. And she's been doing her fruit stand. Myocardial infarction is caused from blockage. My whole family died, wow, from the infarctions. I had no blockage. I caused the damage to the tips of the capillaries, I believe. Was that possibly due to smoking? Because I said I smoked forever. I smoked from 17 probably to 40, 45 maybe. I smoked the occasional cigarette when I met George, but then I just stopped. It was like I was one of those that took a pack of cigarettes, last a couple days, but that was enough. The same with the food I've eaten, from being overweight, from being on certain medications. There's family history. And that's the deal now, is they call it congestive heart failure for me, because they can't get the fluids out of my body. There's barely any blood pumping through my heart. It's causing everything from my waist down to swell so bad, and my legs get so numb because there's no circulation. And uh, and they're saying, due to the other numbers from the tests that I've taken, that that's what they're thinking, is I've got major blockage, because nothing in the echocardiogram showed within, except for one valve is starting to go out. He said that's not it. He goes, you've got, according to your numbers, they called it the widowmaker, that they believed I'm blocked in one area. So yeah, it's kind of scary. That's why I'm so short of breath. I'm nauseous all the time. The medicines I'm taking is causing also pressure in my stomach, and it's insane. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I thought cancer was going to be an issue because my mom had it, and I have skin cancer that's causing issues too. It's the least of my problems. The lupus and the fibromyalgia is the least of my issues. It's not being able to breathe. It's me feeling like I weigh 900 pounds every day when I get up and walk, and my legs are no good. I have a walking cane now that has not just one on it, it's got 4 feet on it. And I can't balance. I'm barely crawling to the bathroom at night, and through midday, it's just hard to walk. No energy, no breathing ability. It's crazy. Hashtag cancel Canadian Heidi, right? Uh, I don't know. I might have skipped a bunch of things up here, guys. My wife was pissed when I did a DNR after my heart attack, but I was super depressed at 39. Yeah, there's a DNR for me. I can't deal, because I told George I wasn't even going to do the stents. That was my plan from the beginning. If I got this sick, I was just supposed to, with all my medical, with my neurological issues, the migraines, the lupus, I was already in enough pain. And then to find out my heart, and the doctor said it still could be the problem. It still could be the problem of past medications. Everything combined could be the problem. But I can't see having CPR done and trying to be brought back as sick as I am. Because even if I get the stents, they only last for so long. And then I have to have open heart surgery anyways, a lifetime of meds. There's a good chance a lot of this fluid will never come off of me after the fact. I'll still be restrained by water. So I don't know. To actually, in 50, almost 55 years old, I can't see it either. I keep reminding him that, because I don't want him. It's going to be hard. I've been watching a lot of ER lately, and I told him so many of them try to bring him back. We keep seeing the older people that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, that they've caught cancer. They're getting dialysis. Their heart's bad. They're full of fluid, and families want them brought back. And it's more for their own purposes and stuff. It is. It's hard to let them go.
The issue is, again, with the non-DNR, is if they did bring Heidi back, she's gonna fall back in within probably a month.
Yeah.
Tops.
Well, why do you guys? A lot of people. We've had people contact. Why don't you
So
go in
it's
with the money you
kind
have?
of just prolonging suffering at that point.
Well, and right now we have probably around the 100,000 remaining. Okay, so after all, in the money coming in each month, we're maintaining about 100,000 pesos plus. And the deal is if I go in, they're not going to keep me in a regular room. They're going to put me in ICU, because my numbers are screaming ICU. And it doesn't mean that I'm not sick, because I'm not going to ICU. I can't afford to sit in ICU, because if we do it now, if we're not ready for the stents, I'm just going to have to sit in there a week before those happen. So we are treating everything at home, and I deal and suffer through everything, like the extra fluids. Takes a couple days to get it off with the pills that I'm on, and I literally sit here and suffer every day. There's nothing I can do. Can't get back to the US, can't do anything, but yeah, it's the same with that. And whatever happens, even if I get my stents, heart conditions are forever. So there is no answer, and they're definitely not going to give me a replacement heart. And even if they do, you still have issues. That's you're taking rejection medicine for the rest of your life. You're still taking medications. So there is no real answer once you have it. So I always say take care of yourself because it's the only body you have. Only time would have told everything. Keanu Reeves had said something like that, and it made me think about that. It's like you can't beat yourself up for what you could have done, should have, would have. Only time would have told my story. Not any amount of doctors telling me if I would have cut out on everything. I was vegan for years. I was in the gym for years. There were years upon years I was perfectly healthy. Only time would have gave me where I was going to be right now. Nobody has that crystal ball. I get I was gaining weight and on steroids and seen it coming. It's a rough situation, but nobody knows until you get to that point. Second one's like when I die, let them fight over the crap. I can sit in heaven and watch the wrestling matches. Yeah, I told George I'm coming back to watch him. That's what I'm going to do. They will not take my body. I told you that. I told George to do the same thing. I thought maybe, I said, avoid the funeral and just let him keep my body. And we checked into it. They will not for multiple reasons.
Medical cadaver.
Yeah, they will not. I thought they would want to see, but you have to be of weight. You can't even be 20 pounds overweight. And I'm telling you what, most you expats are at least 20 pounds overweight. They will not take you if your body is even overweight.
Yeah.
No, age wouldn't have, but you can't have a lot of medical issues. I've got too many going on. So I've got the lupus, the heart conditions, the neurological, the brain issues, the migraine. They won't take somebody that's technically sick. You just got to pretty much die like that. Yeah, it could be an accident where you hemorrhaged or something, but they're not. I have too many issues wrong, and I'm more than 20 pounds overweight. So it's a rejection here. Now, I don't know what the standard is in America, but they said no. They gave a list of what they would require because I'm like, well, let's save some money and then we would know that that could be done. I don't, like I said, I don't care. I'm not, but now it's just going to be cremation. So that's a no on that. Second one says his wee wee is small, Filipino size. Kick him. Kick him in the butt. Kick him. Kick him. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Freak, it is Monday. Yeah. Oh, Robin, septal infarction is from blocked arteries or damage from former heart attacks too. Yeah, that's the one thing they knew I didn't have was a heart attack. They said you have not had one. That's from the blood gases and all those blood things they've been given. He doesn't even want to talk anymore. Pretty much it's a refill on medications. If I haven't entered the hospital and started setting up the stents, he's really got nothing more to say, which I feel like we're being picked over. But then again, I get now why he's like that because there really is nothing. Have you entered the hospital to get the extra fluids? Are you prepped, where you get all that off and then you can lay down long enough to get the angiogram? And none of that can happen until I enter the hospital. But I'm not prepared to give up all remaining meds, get out, and then have zero money. I just can't see it. My life is too terminal to go when I know that if we do it now, I'm going to have to do it in a few months because we don't have the 20,000 to even start with. And unfortunately, it's one day at a time. Sweet Jesus. You think George would explain all this stuff about culture behavior in the Philippines before she got here? I don't think he thought he had to. I mean, I don't see why he would sit around and it's a whole different generational situation. He had not been in the Philippines for a while. He told me some things like the heat and all that, but we were busy with our own life. He was running a business. He didn't sit around and say, okay, watch out for the scamming Philippine. I mean, I can't even see where that would have came up with any Filipino. Yeah, no, we'd have came anyways. And
No,
I don't
I
think,
didn't say certain things. Like,
yeah.
For example, don't live in this place and that would
Yeah.
explain why don't live in this place again. For
And
example,
noise levels wouldn't have been a problem or passive Filipinos.
no,
I don't even
I
think
did
they even
explain
know
things,
they're
and you have
passive.
to remember too.
They don't know
Even
it.
Heidi admits she didn't think it was that bad when I say things.
Or like me, I don't know that I'm a loud mouth half the time. Well, I know it, but you
And
get my
yeah,
point. It's
when I
like,
you have to remember, like for example, when I say
good
109
morning,
degrees in the
Roger.
Philippines is normal, you know that. A lot of people think I'm joking,
No, I thought he was. I'm like, shit, we're from Florida. This
and
can't be bad. And so
no,
I really, until you get here,
I did explain a lot of things, but a lot of if you're an American and you've never been to the Philippines,
oh,
you have to
George.
remember that most of this
Good
sounds
morning,
like an
Roger.
exaggeration, but I don't exaggerate though. So, oh well.
And there's no reason like you would have known from 20 something years ago. And again, I don't think Filipinos are self aware that they've got behavior, but us Americans have all of our behaviors. Well, actually, Americans get blamed for everything in this country. The British blame us for everything. It's wild. Although we've done some fucked up shit to the Philippines for a long goddamn time. So it's, I don't know. I can't see that any Filipino tells they're American. That's like there was just a couple that was a Filipino American couple that they had a really nice life going on. I was like, what the? But they felt their kids were too spoiled, is what they said, and they got rid of like a 5 bedroom house, several cars, two good careers, kids in private school, large bank account, and they moved over here building a house and went out to the province. They said they wanted to learn a value. And of course, now they're vlogging full time. And I'm like, yeah, they didn't want their life to go by. So I kind of don't blame them in that manner either. But I'm sure that he didn't sit around and say, okay, watch out for the chismissers and watch out for the people with attitude and watch out for the over loud places and all that. It's things that, I could sit here all day and tell George about things about living in Florida, don't go to Miami and all the stuff that goes on down there, and watch out for Joanne that sells crack there that's got a dirty ass where she doesn't wash it all day. And if you walk by her, you might throw up. And George's like, what the hell? She stinks. Why didn't you tell me about that? You know what I It's kind of like the same scenario, right? That she should have washed her dirty ass and I should have told you.
You know, it's like,
Something like that. So it's like, who, like George would have known that he didn't grow up in a noisy neighborhood. And do you think a lot of this is new generation?
no,
They've always had loud concerts and loud like this
no, no,
and
no,
noisy.
not new generation. This is
Oh,
the
classism,
no. This is the advent of um
the internet, because the TikTok dancing and the showing off and the pageants. Were there this many pageants when you were a
no,
kid?
it's cross provincial. What I'm saying is, you guys remember back then when I say, why are you acting like that? Are you from the country?
Okay, that
Same
makes
thing,
sense
same
in
thing here.
America. Yeah.
Same thing now, but now here in the U.S. now you can't even say that anymore because everybody's so blended in now that you can't. They're all there now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So there's something. Yeah. So a lot of things have changed, of
Right.
course. It'd be like me. I've already been gone for 6 years. So much has changed in America. If another 15 years go by, I'm sure there'll be a real big difference by the time we go back.
Right. So again, like everybody's so blended in now that it's indistinguishable behavior from from where it came from.
Trump promised no wars. He campaigned on it. He sure did. They've been taking all the stuff he promised in his campaign, and now every last one of them he's broke. And a lot of us feel betrayed. Only corporate America, yeah, because the items for the war they're making money on, and they're not paying taxes, and they're not this, and that, and so there's so much going on. It's just not the cost of living. It's the programs that they've killed and the withdrawal, the new thing in Texas where they're putting religion back in and they're saying there is no separation of church and states, and they're just muddying the waters all the way around. And this election, this up and coming election in November, uh, Mike, the Speaker of the House, I was just telling George, he just made that mention. He said, what did he say? Mob like? What was his exact words? It was, we're all going down, and he in so many words, and he went through and said it, and he said that he was the one in control of, how did he say that, George? the witness or the protection program.
Oh,
That was wild. He goes,
yeah.
I'm the one that's in charge of the protection program, so we have to win this or something. And I'm like, well, what the hell did that even mean? But the whole thing is they know that they're all going to jail. They all know they're going down for war crimes. They all know that everything he's been doing, his cabinet was purchased to actually support him on everything, including the people up at the top. There's no way they keep passing all these things, and I can't believe we talked about the afterwards of the Haitians and the other protective statuses. They're going to start throwing them out of the country. Close to 2 million people that are working people that are doing working class people jobs that are currently paying taxes are just going to be tossed. I can see stopping anybody else and the people on the birthright citizenships from here out. I don't like it, but you can't go and take everybody and just say get the fuck out. It is the rudest thing I've ever seen, and there's just I I it's just insane, the whole thing, and the whole world feels this.
Scott says to eat a bunch of popcorn kernels before you die.
I know that's George already bought a whole case. He says he plans to, yeah. He's just going to be like Jiffy Pop, and he's just going to boop. Yeah. When my grandfather died, we thought my grandmother would soon follow him, a broken heart, but she lived 12 years. My grandparents, it wasn't very long apart, 3, 4 months. So he was 94, she was like 84. So Scott saying his hello, and we said our hellos. I'm just going to skim through here now. Appreciate what's going on. Oh, okay. Rob was like, that's me in my 1940 Ford Coup in the thumbnail. Sweet.
It's a gorgeous car, by the way, Rob. It's a gorgeous car.
I grew up as a car person. My dad took me to car shows. He was always under the hood, always had Harley Davidsons. He was a welder at Liebert's in Ohio, and was just regular working class people. Nothing ever fancy. We didn't know silver spoons in our family. Let's see, just reading everybody in here saying their good morning. So, good morning, good morning. No, certain messages, like I see where Laura said some got deleted, but we don't. They get held naturally by YouTube. It's not even moderators. Except the things you cannot change. You right on that, son. You absolutely right on that, and change the things. And it is something I've lived by, or I'd have lost my mind a long time ago or choked somebody, because if that had been my neighbor in America, George knows I'd have been out there. I would have been calling the cops. You'd have been calling me Karen all day long if at 1:30 in the morning your bass was that loud.
Well, actually, if that was the neighborhood,
Everybody in the neighborhood
they
would have
would've
been there.
called it.
Everybody
They
would
would've
have.
called it.
So it's not because I'm a Karen. That was ridiculous last night. And lately, the things, I mean, am I not out of 10 things? I'm probably letting 8 things go right now. And then George will hear me. But I used to complain about all 10 things over the years. Now it's just like I told George, I said, I don't even hear, like every night, I'm going to just call them hillbillies. There is somebody that's living on our street where like 10 or 12 of them will come out of their house and they'll sit out there for hours, and I'm still hearing them at about 11 or 11:30 out there drinking and laughing and music on and karaokeing, and their kids are still out there running around. And I told George, I said, they're just having fun. And I get all that, noise or not. But if that had been Heidi 5 years ago, I'd have been having a heart attack. Like I'd have been pacing the floor, like, what the F is going on? But it's like you go with the flow when in Rome. I get it, but there's limits to going to the same store and they're out of stock, but they got 50 people standing around and it still takes you an hour to get through a line. And it's just like, fuck that shit. You just start at some point, you're like, what's really going on? What's really going on? Look at George thinking, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I seen you in one of those shows the other day.
Well, there's a lot of things that don't add up with that family. And
Yeah, Scott's really tall.
I'm just trying to not say anything and try to be nice. That's all I'm getting at.
One day we're just gonna have to switch. I'm gonna be like really quiet and meek, and I'm gonna have you just rip because I know you can. Because when you're off air, I told people you do tend to be a lot more boisterous. I think you're worried about offending, and I sure the fuck don't care. Especially when I'm in pain most of the time. It's just like, okay, when we don't say nothing, then there's nothing going on, and I feel like we're doing a misjustice. And then I'm like, what makes a difference? Whether I say this, or that, they're gonna hate me or love me one way or the other. It doesn't matter for me. It's like a split crowd. Mm, right? Mm. Oh, by the way, Stinky Chink, some people are contacting us. The Siamese got fixed yesterday. Poor little guy.
Oh yeah, right.
The new vet center, who knows, but he's probably upstairs but it was an actual vet versus one of those open clinic things. And they made George wait until he was wide awake, which sometimes it takes hours. Then he got home late in traffic. The poor guy goes stumbling out of his cage and he hung around me all night. I could barely move after I finally got to sleep at 1 o'clock. He was all over me, but he's still having a hard time. He's eating and drinking, which he did right away, but he hasn't been drinking as much. But why does it look like he's so damn skinny? You ever noticed in one day they just look linkier or something? It's like his bones. Maybe it's just because the way he's laying around or something, but he looks skinny as hell right now.
Well, there's no food and drink for almost
He lost
a
some
day and a
weight.
half.
Yeah, so he doesn't. He was looking extra skinny this morning. Yeah, I am 5'11". Yeah, probably. Well, it's like 5'11 and a half. I mean, I'm tall. If it wasn't for that and all this weight, I'd really look crazy. I'd just look like Andre the Giant and a sumo wrestler wrapped in one. And with the bloating, it really looks crazy. And I really don't give a shit. There was a point where I tried to pull myself together and put this little thing on to go out and pick up a package. Now I don't give a crap. I just go out there with skin exposed, no bra, no wig, no nothing, and I just run out there and get my package. They already see me as an old white expat, anyways. So I it's like I just do me now and stuff. It's like before, if I'd have been in America, I'd have put if my hair was this short, I'd have put this on and put a little bit of makeup on, and it's like, now we're just, you can. So I can say fuck, shit, damn, and retard. I call for George all day long, right, babe? I use that word all the time. I said shit. I earned that right. I don't give a shit. If you're retarded, you're retarded.
It's Gen X.
Yeah, screw that. All right, guys. I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I see there's more comments, but yeah, it's time to split. Time for George to go get some coconut water and time to chill for the rest of the day and appreciate everybody coming in. And it's good to see George there. You left your chicken sandwich there, son. That is your sandwich. Here, sit back and let me see your shirt again one more time for those that didn't see it. This is our new character shirt. Believe it or not, that was only $5. That's the character where I look like Joe Dirt. That's me, and that's me over here with my short haircut. And there's Ricky, and then that's supposed to be George in his pajamas. You see him in. They changed it to bears or something.
Yeah, it's fun.
But it was our photo that they turned into a cartoon on Temu, and the thing was like 371 pesos, and it came with the shirt. You can't beat that in America. To print something out and turn it into a cartoon would probably cost 20-30 bucks. So I'm like, it was like an early birthday for George, and it's just like I thought it was cute. So, but thank you guys. Appreciate
guys so much. We love you
everybody, everybody coming in.
Thank you for the donations and also
All
your
the
comments.
support. We do, guys. We really do, and appreciate everybody being here. And until next time.